Warlock is, so it could be anything. So I feel like we was probably thinking like, well, if he's gonna play anti-aggro, I might as well know what he's playing and go into it with that knowledge. Warrior, whether it's Patron or Control Warrior is pretty anti-aggro there, as we do see there's a Control Warrior on the side of Wubu here, and we're going to start off with a Priest versus Control Warrior. Obviously nowadays you don't really see Dragon Priest, so if someone says Priest, it's pretty much going to assume that's Control Priest nowadays on pretty much any server, unless noted otherwise. But this is going to be an interesting game. There's a good chance this goes to Fatigue. And if it goes to Fatigue, it's honestly anyone's game, just because for the Warrior, they can get a ton of armor. This used to be very favored for Warrior because you basically just get so much more armor with the tank ups from Warrior. But now, there is obviously there's Jessica for Priest too, which will be decent later game when you start fatiguing. But more importantly, he saw the Death Lords in Valeera's mulligan there, which he threw away as he goes ahead and says Ni Hao to his opponent, which is responded to by Wubu. But you see there, the Entomb is very big at getting ahead of your opponents, so to speak, in the Fatigue battle. And then finally, there's Thought Steal, which could potentially be in Valeera's deck as well, which will give him more value overall. So those are the tools for Priest. If this does end up going to Fatigue, we've occasionally seen players try to get aggressive. I've seen Control Priest just say like, okay, I'm not going to win, and just start flooding the board and hoping there's no brawl and killing their opponent that way. But pretty good chance this goes to Fatigue. Shrink.
Yes, that's true. I mean, you just talk about the tank up there, but we could have heal first before the tank up.
We could have. I'm sorry. The heal. Oh, from Justicar, right? Because Justicar, when you upgrade the Priest hero power, it goes from lesser heal to heal. Not sure if you realize that, but yeah, tank up versus heal. Usually tank up wins that battle, but we'll see what Valeera can do. Here comes Injured Blade Master into his hand. Interesting that Valeera decided not to play the SHR Cleric on turn 1. Probably a bit afraid of something like a Fire War Axe. We see that it's not in hand. On the other hand, Wubu not really willing to play the Armorsmith right now. It could be food for that North Star. Though, again, like I mentioned before, these players are not necessarily wanting to draw cards in this matchup.
Yeah, I mean, since go to Fatigue, drawing cards can be very bad for you. But I think what Valeera was thinking is that he needs to draw some cards. So if his SHR Cleric got Fairy War Axe, that his cards will be somewhat a problem. So he couldn't be able to draw the cards according to his own wish. So he just saved the SHR Cleric until he could draw some cards from that meaning.
Right, it's kind of like, the Patron Warrior versus Freeze Mage matchup, where you want to draw some cards so that you have answers in your hand. As we can see in Valeera's hand right now, he has Light Bomb and Entomb, but no Shadow Word Death, nothing like that, so it's kind of hard for him. I think this is a bluff. This has to be a bluff, right? I mean, there's no way he just bashes the face. Yeah, okay, it's just a bluff from Wubu there. But, yeah, so Valeera doesn't really want to... he's going to go for this. Okay, this is kind of interesting. So, yeah, he wants to draw some cards. It's not too many. As you can see, the Zombie Chow come into the hand. Zombie Chow actually not too bad against Warrior, just because you can start pinging out the armor. And you don't... I mean, if the Warrior, isn't getting down into his normal health and he still has armor up, then the Zombie Chow isn't really going to heal your opponent anyway, so it's actually fine. We see the Despite coming out here, just going to take out this SHR Cleric, it seems. The following turn, Wubu can take out this Injured Blade Master with the help of Bash. And you're not too worried about the fact that, Circle of Healing drew a card, as we see a thank you coming over from Wubu here. But yeah, you're not too worried about that, particularly because, in the end, it might be a negative, thing that they drew a card.
Yeah, and sometimes You can go for things like YOLO, Ysera, in certain circumstances, and or you just store a lot of cards played by the warrior, and you play Ysera, and things will turn extremely good for you.
The thing is for Valera, I don't know if he's running Ysera. These days, Priest doesn't have room for it. Even for the one, big guy in the deck. Basically, you just try to, just answer every single threat. And if it's control versus control, you win by going to fatigue and just outlasting your opponent that way, rather than trying to get a big minion to stick, which is normally not going to stick if you're playing against a control deck. So it's going to be the bash and the attack, though it's a bit of a wrong order here. Wubu attacking after the bash, and he's not going to retain that armor. And he could have been at 5, and you see Valera kind of shaking his head like, what a noob. But this is like, unfortunately, wait, he doesn't actually even heal his zombie chow? What is the purpose of that?
Um, it's apparently deliberate because he actually passed the turn pretty quickly. He had the idea of not healing,
No, I
so
don't. I think he just played too quickly there. I think he looked at his hand, thought he realized he wasn't going to play anything, and he's like, okay, this is just a hit and pass, and then he just forgot to.
yeah, this is why I guess.
Well, I mean, the Akanai doesn't matter, right? Because the circle still. I guess he could Akanai ping his own zombie child, but the 5 damage doesn't really matter too much. He'd rather just have the zombie child on the field to ping off the armor. In the case Justicar does hit the field, that would be pretty useful, along with the Akanai for pinging off stuff. 4 damage, basically the Akanai turns into kind of like a fire elemental there because you can, or even better, obviously, because you can just start pinging guys. Zombie Chow is going to heal Wubu up here, and yeah, we're just kind of just taking turns, playing this game slowly. Might be a armor smith coming out here, but we'll see. Behind this Sludge Belcher, usually a pretty good thing to do. Sludge Belcher right now, by the way, is pretty good to play out before the turn 8 of Priest, because they might have Shrinkmeister Cabal. We do see that it's not in the hand of Valeera right now, though. There's the Cabal, however.
There's a couple, but this is an interesting turn for Valeera here.
Yeah, I kind of like this. I mean, Flash Heal's not going to get too much value. You might as well just use it on this Sludge Belcher and keep your guy alive. Basically, force your opponent to deal with the Justicar. You know that he doesn't have Fire Warlocks in hand because he would have just used that to clear out the Justicar rather than letting the Sludge Belcher die, or the front half of the Sludge Belcher die to that. So definitely a good play by Valeera here to make sure this guy stays alive. On the other hand, for Wubu, there is now a Despite in his hand, so he can go ahead and make use of that. The BGH almost certainly has no target in the Priest unless you give him something to entomb, and then maybe you can BGH the target that was entombed. So that might be something he hangs on to for that purpose, but otherwise, yeah, not too much. Looks like he's favoring killing up this Akanai because of the danger of that, the heal, which would hurt you a lot. Gonna just get rid of that. And now this Cool Taskmaster kind of, contest this Justicar, but it could get healed. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, talking about BGH, you could actually use Crew Taskmaster and the BGH the same target, but I don't think there isn't any second Crew Task in the control deck nowadays, and yeah, the BGH probably would just be a 4-2 there.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think he's going to wait to use it on his own minion later on, because you figure that something's going to get entombed. You saw Valeera there. He wanted to first Cabal the Cruel Taskmaster, but for one, he realized that he'd be playing in the Brawl a little bit, and two, he kind of wants to take something like an Armorsmith even more, so definitely makes sense, and kind of just forcing out the use of this Despite. Instead, just going to be a Revenge and likely just a hero power-up and pass. Wubu really doesn't want to give away his Armorsmith. He's had that in his hand for the entire game.
That's one.
Oh, sorry to cut you off. And if you're just joining us, it is Wubu on the top, the Shenyang Gold Series winner, and on the bottom, it's TongFu's Valeera, the captain of TongFu. In the case. Alright, so the Sludge Belcher comes out. Sorry, you were saying?
Yeah, I mean that's kind of weird because he's kind of playing the Cabal Shadow Priest earlier, but he may be just thinking he's not going to play it anyway, or just he used as something to play Brawl with later, and Valeria just passed.
Right, nothing to do here for Valeera. He could have maybe used Entomb there. Such Welcher, it seems like a waste of Entomb, but there's nothing too big in the Control Warrior anyway. So that might be pretty useful. But yeah, Valera's just content, I suppose, with continuing to heal himself. He's not taking any real damage. If more is committed to the board, then Valera could potentially just play a Light Bomb or maybe pick up an Akanai for Akanai Circle. And even without having that in hand right now, he's basically, he's kind of bluffing it to his opponent, right? Wubu doesn't really want to commit more to the board because it might just get died to some sort of AoE. And on the other hand, Wubu, he's not really getting any damage done by continuing to attack with the Sludge Belcher. I think if I'm Wubu, I just keep attacking with my Sludge Belcher and don't play anything else. You're getting armor, your opponent's not getting anything. The card counts are relatively similar, and even if you get behind via the Entomb, you might still be able to, win the game if you're that far ahead in armor.
Yeah, that's definitely say one of the possibilities. Yeah, I think you do attack first and to see what
Yeah,
happens.
just attack and armor. The one thing is that maybe Valera might be waiting for his Shrinkmeister. I think we saw Shrinkmeister in the Mulligan, though I might be crazy. So that could be the case. I wonder if Valera just throws away his Northshire here.
Oh, that's reasonable. That you actually could play when it's chosen along with it, but that's uh, kind of vulnerable to execute.
Hmm.
So n not going to overdraw yet. So Valeria is not very worried about that.
Well, he has to
But
play a
on the
card
other,
this coming turn, though. Oh, there's a
oh,
Shrinkmeister right on time. Okay. That's what he's waiting for the entire time. Finally picks it up, and pretty big board here. I think we're going to see an Acolyte of Pain plus Brawl, because you actually want your Acolyte to die here.
yeah, but what if you survive?
Then you're very,
He'll
very sad.
block.
Then you're sad. And then Valera plays Pyromancer plus Valence Chosen plus Circle, and then you feel very sad. And then you draw all the cards. But yeah, this is going to be it. It's going to be the Acolyte of Pain plus the Brawl. Again, you don't want to be drawing cards. You want to be winning in the Fatigue battle in the end. Shield Block is okay because you might be able to draw and adjust the card a bit faster. So it looks like it's going to be
Oh.
the Cabal that survives. No real way, unfortunately, to kill this Cabal. So yeah, he's just going to armor and pass.
Oh, that's one thing that can fasten your opponent's fatigue.
Yeah, Deathlord is pretty good here. And you saw that there wasn't any way to deal with the Cabal. If there was an Executor or a Shield Sam, it probably would have come down. So maybe play the Deathlord, but perhaps Valeera is a bit afraid of the second Brawl. In any case, we see Shield Slam in the hand of Wubu, which means he can now kill off the Cabal Shadow Priests. And, Priest doesn't really run anything too big, so definitely makes sense to just kill this off. Not going to go ahead and Shield Block. I wonder if Wubu's committing to not playing that Shield Block ever. That'd be pretty interesting. Obviously, every single card matters when you start getting, 13, 14, 15 fatigue. So, yeah, we're just going to play this Dr. Boom onto the field and force his opponent to deal with it. If you're Valera here, do you Entomb that? Do you Light Bomb? Do you Death? I figure, I guess Light Bomb's pretty good here. Everything from now on is just going to be kind of single target. Or at least coming from the warrior. There's typically no way, or usually the warrior isn't really able to flood the board anyway. So yeah, from now on you can just use your Entombs and your Deaths and stuff like that. Deathlord now hitting the field, which is kind of weird in one case because I just mentioned that there's no real way for the warrior to flood the board, but this is one way to flood the board if you put the Deathlord on the field.
Yeah, and this is really awkward for Ubu there that he can't kill that he doesn't want to kill the Deathler, but he has to. But he just doesn't have anything good to play with his hand right now.
Well, he could just play out the Alex Straza. Um, you don't really have the opportunity to use Alex Straza on yourself late in the game because if that comes to that, then you're probably taking 15 damage of fatigue anyway. It's not really going to help you. The one thing you can do is potentially save Alex Straza for right when your opponent starts to fatigue, and then you hit them for 15. Because if you Alex Straza right now, they might be able to just heal back to full by the time they hit fatigue. So looks like it's just going to be an armor pass, and doing only 2 damage is it's net even. Definitely makes sense. Instead of Valeera doesn't need to play anything right now. No need to put 2 cards into that Death Lord by playing Valen's Chosen. Obviously, the Powered Shield's dead card as well, so not going to do anything. So it's going to be an Armor Pass on the side of Wubu as well. Really looking for that Justicar. And Valeera doesn't pick up anything, so unfortunately he's going to have to play a card here. And picks the Pyromancer.
Yeah, actually, I mean, you could have played the Nostra Cleric. I don't know why, because there should be another icon pain that you maybe want to work with this Pyromancer in the future. Axon Jones not really useful in this matchup, man. Just set up.
Right, just put that on the floor to kill your opponent's Death Lord. Interesting that he's using the Harrison Jones now when he could have maybe contested the Death Lord earlier using that. So Valeera picks up Thought Steal, but he's gonna have to use a card before he plays the Thought Steal. Unfortunately for him, perhaps he commits to the Valen's Chosen. Um, yeah, seems reasonable. Commit to the Valen's Chosen. Now he can Thought Steal, which is reasonable. And does he throw his Valen's?
Oh wait, why did he attack with the Death Lord? He can attack with the.
Maybe he might value having 2 things on the field. Um, But if he does do that, then he would have to heal the Pyromancer to get out of range of Deathbite, obviously. So it looks like it's going to be this. I guess now he can't really Thought Steal unless he uses something, so he's going to hold off on the Thought Steal as well. Again, these Power Shields are basically dead cards in his hand from here on out. So Valeera actually really wanting to see something he can tomb, and he might get his wish with his Sylvanas.
Yeah, both Estraza and Sylvanas very good targets for that. And
I mean, the other thing about this game is I think that both of these players, in a certain way, are kind of getting into their own heads a bit. We've seen this Armor Smith on the left side of Wubu's hand the entire time. He's already seen 1 Cabal Shadow Priest. I feel like he could have played it earlier. Now, obviously, just dies to Deathlord, which isn't very valuable. But yeah, I think they're just kind of getting each other's head. But just going to be an execute here onto this Death Lord. Gets rid of, and we see Valeera. He really wants something big here. Backlight Pain comes out, which is actually a big deal. But no more Pyromancer to kind of aid that Acolyte, or aid the kill of that Acolyte.
you could play the Lothar to go 1-1-1.
Yeah, so just gonna play that out. Nothing. He doesn't really want to get rid of anything else in his hand. The Power Word Shield is very bad for him. The Alkanite Soul Priest is useful later, and obviously the Thought Steal, you miss a card and you overdraw. So yeah, just going with this this Northshire Cleric. Yeah, it's just kind of looking at Valeera's head, and it's like there's nothing to do there. So what are we gonna see here from Wubu? Obviously that Fireworks coming out, and are we going to see an armor up? Are we going to see a Sylvanas? Yeah, it's really just unfortunate for Wubu that he hasn't been able to find.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So you see Valeera kind of thinking about things right now. Is he going to Light Bomb just to make this Acolyte draw an extra card? Is it worth it is the other question. Light Bomb can be pretty useful later, but he has to do something. He can maybe throw away Circle. He can maybe throw away Flash Heal. But he needs to do something here.
He needs to do something indeed. And yeah, well, what does throw away?
You could just play the Arcanine and kill off the Acolyte.
Yeah, that's one of them, but you want to save the. I think you want to save the Alkali Circle.
Well, you don't really. I mean, what are you going to Alkanize Circle though? You can just entomb whatever comes on the board anyway. You have a death and two entomb, so I think you're fine just doing this. Yeah, just gonna go ahead and kill that acolyte. You have a double entomb, a death, and a light bomb. So I think you're fine as Valeera. I feel like I have enough answers. Spellbreaker comes in the hand of Wubu, which is not something you see every single day.
Well, yeah, I mean, since you are kind of warrior, actually another way to call this deck, yeah, you just don't play how you play, just Spellbreaker, just to get a bigger body on the board.
Hmm.
Uh, the trajectory of the thinking I can totally follow, and Spellbreaker is something I sometimes play in control warrior decks as well. So,
Yeah, Wubu, unfortunately for him, doesn't have any way to kill this Arcanite other than using his Grom. He could shield block for something, but obviously he'd be getting more and more fatigue, and he hasn't seen any entombs, which he knows are in the deck of Valeera, so he needs to be basically 2 cards ahead. How much is that? 5, and how much does Valeera have left? I think it's about the same, right? You can see Valeera with a kind of smug look on his face, realizing that he's in a pretty good position, and just gonna be attacking with the axe and re-equipping another axe, and then armoring up. Again, Justicar being the bottom 5 cards of Vubu's deck, not working out too well for him here. Let's see what Valeera goes for. He could just flash heal his opponent's face. I feel like you have to. Otherwise, you just play Cabal into a potential second brawl. But yeah, I think that's going to be the play. Maybe I don't see him just overdrawing a card here. So yeah, he's gonna flash heal the face just to get rid of something.
but okay, I guess the reason why you don't play Starter is you want something in your deck instead of something in your opponent's deck. But it's going to be somewhat bad card for Valeria in this.
Yeah, I feel like okay. Once this Arcanite dies, I mean, Valeria needs to thought steal something soon, right? Okay, it looks like it's 5 to 4. He needs to thought steal something soon, or else he's not gonna get any value. Um,
Oh,
that's actually really good. Um, do you? Okay, well, Valeria has a couple more turns to be able to utilize thought steal here. I feel like he should just throw away the circle, and just thought steal. Because circle,
yeah.
you're already done. I mean, I guess you can heal up your guys later on, but you don't have Alkanite Circle anymore. Um, you're not going to use it with Northshire, obviously, so there's no real use for it. I mean, just kind of a dead card, which is fine. But yeah, this game is kind of ridiculous right now.
I mean, Ubu still has 3 cards, so Valeria could throw that away next turn, which won't be too late.
Right.
So time of BGH coming down.
Huh. So it looks like he's committing to a bunch of stuff here. That armorsmith has been in the second armor or the first armorsmith, excuse me, has been in the hand of Wu the entire game. I think we might actually see as Harrison comes in, going to be an attack plus a circle, I believe. I think you circle here. This is your last chance to circle.
Yeah, and
Probably thought steal as well. Yeah. So it's going to go up to 9, I believe. There's
oh, last card.
Yeah, there's Justicar. Justicar doesn't really. I mean, there's no super heal, right? It doesn't really work that way, unfortunately. But it is a body, which is kind of what you want. And Shield Summon actually might be pretty useful here, since there is obviously an Armorsmith on the board now.
Oh, we would just got trumped.
Ooh, we just got trumped.
Yeah, Trump. Do you remember Trump once upon a time he draw cards in control warrior versus control warrior, and it proves that he was right because his Justicar was at the bottom of his deck.
Well, in any case, that is the last brawl. So now, obviously, Valeera can just play cards on the field, and he won't have to worry about AOE coming out. It just has to be single target damage. Going to be in a. He's attacking this for. Oh, he's gonna bash it. Okay, I guess that makes a bit of sense. But now, Harrison can be played onto the field. We see Valeera already reaching for that card. And yeah, this game is pretty interesting. I think you play the Such Vulture as well, and Valeera is looking just really good in this game. I don't see how Wubu wins. The only thing going for Wubu really is that he can Alex draws his opponent as it goes to fatigue, but there's 2 Entombs in Valeera's hand. I don't see it here for Wubu. If he had Justicar way earlier and he was tanking up this entire time, and he had 40 armor or whatever, then that would be obviously it would be a much closer game. But right now, I think this game is over.
Well, is there any way that Wubu can come back?
I mean, yeah, it's worth trying to find a way for him to come back, but just looking at his hand, it seems like it's impossible. He's already used 2 brawls, which were reasonable brawls at the time, but he knows he can't play anything out of his hand because they just get entombed or deathed or, maybe even both if he plays 2 big heads at the same time or something. But yeah, Justicar gonna finally hit the field. Gonna tank up and shield slam, I assume. He has to shield slam, or else this is a clear misplay.
Yeah, now he has to use shield slam.
he technically doesn't have to shield slam, but just to avoid the clear misplay. But yeah, we see Pyromancer hitting the field now. Just gonna be Valeera's own Justicar and probably the Pyromancer as well. Oh my god, the super heal. Oh, no, didn't get to see it. I wonder why the Pyromancer wasn't played here. Like, maybe he feels like he might need the damage later, and it's pretty irrelevant whether he plays it right now or not. I guess he's worried about maybe Execute, and he can't really play a spell and heal all of his guys, and then, he knows that there's 1 Execute left in Wubu's deck.
Well, I mean...
By the way, we have to mention that you mentioned before that Valeera really shines when he knows what's in his opponent's hand. Now he knows what's in his opponent's hand. Valeera is unstoppable. He can't lose.
Well, maybe. I mean, there are cards he doesn't see, which he could have a good guess. Like there's like Execute, and there's Grum, there's Astrada.
If you guys missed it at the beginning of the cast, I mentioned that Shrink told me that Valeera apparently he gets a bit anxious when he has to play because he can't see both. He can only see his own cards. He can't see his opponent's cards, and obviously if he is casting, he's able to see both cards. He knows the right play, right? But now he knows his opponent's cards, and so therefore he knows the right play. It looks like we're having some Skype issues. Yeah, it's Sylvanas in the field. That's gonna get. In tune right now. Let me just try to see if I can get this Skype call up. Alright, well, it looks like Skype is just working hard trying to get stuff, or trying to get the call back. Unfortunately, you're gonna have to live with these sounds right now. Very smug look on Valeera's face right now, realizing that he pretty much has the game in hand. Shrink, you back? Hello? Alright, not sure if we have Shrink, but in any case, still looking really good for Valeera here. Valeera, you can see him sitting in his chair thinking, okay, I got this, don't worry about it. And there's going to be concede. Wubu realizes that he can't win the game. Reasonable decision to concede there. If you start playing out more and more cards, you give your opponent a bit of information. In particular, Alex Strauss is not always played in Control Warrior. So doesn't want to play that card right there. But well played by Valeera. Really long game 1 on the day. So that was pretty interesting. Hopefully we don't see anything more like that. Although we do have a warrior in Valeera's deck, so or Valeera's set of classes. So yeah, that might see more fatigue in the future. Yep. Anyway, it looks like we have an interview with Valeera. So Priest Shrink, is he saying anything interesting?
I got the internet connection.
Okay, looks like Shrink is trying to get back his own connection so that he can translate this. We might not have that translation for you, sorry guys. But
well, I mean, yeah, I got it. Basically, he said, I have really strong decks this tournament, and don't worry about me.
Valeera always the jokester. Though I might be eating my words if he does manage to go far. I feel like it's a pretty good chance in this group. This isn't the most intimidating group, just to be honest. No BlizzCon qualifiers or super accomplished players here. So I think Valeera has a pretty decent chance, and yeah, he played pretty well that last game. So we'll see if he can keep it up.
Yes, indeed, we shall see.
All right, so looks like it is going to be Patron Warrior versus Control Warrior. Unfortunately, Valeera, this is a pretty bad matchup. It's actually surprisingly enough not. It's about similar to the matchup used to be pre Warsong nerf. Before the Warsong nerf, the way that Patron won, as we see a couple of Nihaos coming out. Basically the Control Warrior, or the Patron Warrior, excuse me, try to go OTK their opponent. Sometimes they can get like 60 damage, right? Nowadays, there's actual minions to play out. There's like mid-range minions, and sometimes the Control Warrior, excuse me, doesn't have a way to deal with all of them, and so that's the way that the Patron Warrior can win. Is just hope that your opponent doesn't have the answers, but there's less of an OTK aspect obviously, and more of just kind of get minions on the field and try to win that way. By the way, interesting that Valeera passed turn 2, but then played the Armorsmith on turn 3. I suppose he... Well, there's no Kit Kats rule here, right? The Kit Kats rule is that you don't play Armorsmith on turn 2 if you don't have a way to deal with Acolyte in the mirror matchup, right? But he did have Fiery War Axe, so that doesn't really make too much sense. Not armoring up kind of gives away that he's Patron Warrior and he wants to get attacked. But overall, this just doesn't make too much sense to me.
That doesn't make any sense to me either, and I guess this is not making much sense to Wubu as well. So this strategy from Valeera is kind of working, I guess.
just mind games, just tactics, right? To confuse him as much as possible. Anyway, this armor is going to get taken out by the Dust Bite. We'll see what the follow-up is for Valeera. Gonna actually attack phase here. Going for the YOLO, hope I get Patron next turn, I assume. But unfortunately, by coining the Despite, now Wubu is unable to coin into Harrison Jones. So that's one bad aspect. But he does have a Despite equipped, so even if there's a Patron top deck here, Wubu can just brawl and use his Despite to kill the remaining Patron. So Wubu not too, threatened here. Going to be actually an Acolyte into a Slam on the Acolyte. This is a dead giveaway that this is Patron by this point for Wubu. Well, kind of. It's sort of, right? But I mean, if you're playing Control Warrior versus Control Warrior, you never. I mean, yes, you run Acolyte and you probably want Slam too, but you're never gonna play this way in the Control Warrior versus Control Warrior matchup. You want to win the fatigue battle. But
yeah, that's true. Actually, I was thinking the turn 3 Armorsmith was kind of counterplay against this Harrison, which will be an implausible explanation to me.
Well, in any case, it's going to be the Fireworks coming out. If you're wondering why he didn't play Despite here, it's probably because he doesn't want to be pressured into using Despite later. If a reasonable sized minion comes out here from Wubu, or basically any minion at all, Valeera might want to kill it, and he doesn't want to get rid of the Despite battle, or excuse me, the death battle. And he can just swing at whatever he wants with the Fiery War Axe, so that's kind of the reason why. So Valeera trying to bait out this Despite with the, or Despite attack, excuse me. Oh, that's unfortunate. Now he actually wants to equip the Despite. But yeah, Valeera just wants to bait out the attack from the Despite so that he can use, or throw a Loatheb on the field, something like that. But unfortunately gets slammed out by Wubu. And right now this is looking pretty bad for Valeera. I mean, there's 2 brawls in the hand now. There's even, Cruel Task Execute for, bigger things. There's just so much going on here for Wubu. And we're getting close to turn 9, so even if there's a brawl and there's no Despite equipped, there could be, it could be just brawl into silence as well. So, in any case, we'll just decide to actually kill this off with his Despite this turn. Gonna play out his own Doctor Boom. And Whirlwind picked up, so it looks like it's just gonna be a YOLO Patron turn right now.
Yeah, yellow patron, and he can draw a card. Oh,
Alright, so it's just gonna be a bit of a YOLO play here, wanting to have as many patrons survive as possible. Let's see where the boom bots hit. Not
not very.
well. At least he didn't kill a fresh patron, right? So there is that. But yeah, unfortunately for Valeera here, he doesn't get to draw as many cards. Now let's see what happens with Wubu. He doesn't even need to use Brawl. He could just fire War X and kill one of the other ones and then use Execute. That does get rid of an Execute, but he retains the Brawl for both Brawls, for future turns anyway. So yeah, just probably gonna do this. So no reason to use the Brawl here. And nice and easy clear. Oh, I'm just gonna silence it. This is pretty interesting. I suppose he just wants to save his Execute. It kind of makes sense. Alright, so now we have a Whirlwind coming in the hand of Valeera. His options are kind of running short here. He can play a YOLO Garam, I guess, but that's not going to do much. Lotheb kind of just dies on board as well. Well, I guess he could start trading off his patron and play Lotheb and hope that it survives. But looks like it's going to be a YOLO Garam turn. I mean, it makes sense, right? You don't...
Yeah, this is the only way you win. You got Grum and the Grum sticks.
And you pray, basically. But most likely BGH coming down here. It could be an Execute, actually. Maybe he saves a BGH for a potential Doctor Boom later. But
I want to see the Execute into Temple BGH.
Okay, I guess. Well, anyway, gonna be the Sludge Belcher coming down, which protects the BGH, which is nice because that guy can trade in this stuff. And looking not too great for Valeera here.
Yeah, very grim for Valeera indeed. Execute this. Play on his hand actually. Except the Whirlwind, and Valeera knows from his face that this game is coming here and not in his favor.
Right. Basically, in this matchup, if you don't get a really good tempo lead, then you're basically done. And not only does he not have the tempo lead, but the Control Warrior has the tempo lead. And Valeera's going to have to play defensively, which is not where you want to be.
Well, I mean, playing defensively is one thing, but nothing to play is really another. And yeah,
I feel like you just play the Lotheb there, right? Oh, I mean, yeah, it probably dies, but when is there ever going to be a turn when it doesn't die? Maybe he's waiting to be able to patron and then he plays the Lotheb, but he doesn't have a Deathbite anymore, so it's not. He can't actually play patron plus Enrage plus Whirlwind plus Lotheb on the same turn.
Yeah, but sometimes it's better to save it. I mean, you play it, then you just kind of give away, even though it's rather common to play Lotheb in modern Patron Warrior decks. But yeah.
All right, well, this is going to be game over.
I
mean, there's going to be a Brawl plus I mean, he doesn't even need the Brawl, actually. He can just Shield Slam, Execute, attack with his Big Game Hunter, and use Fiery Warx. Maybe he just Brawls just to use it, and he can save his Executes and Shield Slams. Picks up a Justicar, and that's probably a game. I mean, he can Brawl and then Justicar afterward. He can maybe execute. He can actually execute Shield Slam, Fire Warx, and Justicar, which would be interesting.
Yeah, there's multiple ways just to do it, and you have already seen the most of the threats, and you have
and Big Game Hunter wins the Brawl. I mean, I think that's a clear sign to Valeera that this is not his game. Dread Corsair comes in the hand, that's not going to do it, and probably going to see a concede here. Yep, that's going to be it.
Well played.
Well played. Game number 2 goes over to Wubu, not much of a surprise there. And we are tied 1-1. Valeera has Mage and Warrior remaining. We do know that now that it's Patron Warrior. And for Wubu, it's Warlock and Shaman. And it'll be interesting to see what this Warlock is. Obviously, we've seen the Control Warrior from Wubu, so he is obviously willing to play, more control-y decks. And the Shaman is almost certainly going to be an aggro Shaman. So the Warlock could be either. It could be, Could be Zoo, it could be Reno, it could be Malilock.
Well, I just realized handlock is really not a thing anymore, DT.
Yeah, it's not.
Well, I mean, the mage from Valeera might be. I think, according to his stream, it should be freeze mage, but he might just change his mind, deciding that he's not going to play. Okay, I'm going to changing my tactics, and nobody will know I'm going to play mag mage instead of freeze mage. But we're not seeing that, and this will be Patron Warrior versus Relalock.
Right, and this is a really bad matchup for the Patron Warrior. Basically, as long as Wubu is able to pick up his AoE cards, then the Patron really can't get going, and there's enough removal for the rest of the stuff in the Patron deck, and yeah, eventually the Reno just wins the long game. But there is a way for Patron to win. It's basically, there's a couple ways. You basically put Patrons on the board, hope your opponent doesn't have AoE. Another way is to just kind of tempo them out of the game and hope they don't have answers. There's ways, but it involves a lot of crossing your fingers and hoping.
Is there any way to fatigue opponent in this matchup?
Not really. You mean to fatigue the Reno lock?
Yeah.
The problem with that is there's so much card draw in your own deck that you're basically not doing much. I guess you could try to go for super amounts of armor, but I mean there's substantial minions in the Reno lock. It's not like, you know, freeze mage where you play nothing and it's like passing back and forth. You actually have to deal with Reno lock's threats, and if you wait that long and don't put any pressure onto your opponent, then they can just, you know, play their own threats, and it's really hard to deal with. So no, I would say it's very unlikely that it goes to fatigue.
Yeah. And talking about substantial meaning, we have Twilight Drake into Refresh Render, into the Brothers of Fusion and stuff. Yep. But those.
Alright, so this is basically just drawing cards here, trying to cycle. And you see the plan from Valeera. It's pretty clear here. He's just saying, you know, I can't win the long game. I'm just going to have to be as aggressive as possible.
Yes, that's definitely the case here. And we will take his time. He knows he's probably already won this. And Reno already in hand. And
yeah, seeing an Interrage on an Acolyte, it's actually, you kind of like to see that just because you know that he doesn't have, you know, Despite into, you know, Patron Interrage there in that case. So Wu was probably pretty happy to see that, particularly because he doesn't have any AoE in hand right now. But yeah, we're still, things are still kind of going on in this game. Could we see a Dark Bomb? Maybe. We could maybe see a Dark Bomb plus, you know, a Dark Peddler. We could also just see Fugan come out on the board, which is pretty hard to deal with. And yeah, just going to be the Fugan here. It's a big fat guy to make it difficult for your opponent to deal with. We see Execute come in the hand. Valeera, which he could use now. Oh, that's actually a really good card. Yeah, so now he can actually clear the board without using Execute, which is pretty nice.
Yes, and he has to do this correctly. Yeah,
right.
And
picks up a card for a shovel as well. So pretty good, actually, turn there from Valeera. Otherwise, that might have been a bit awkward. You don't really want to use Execute there because you might see Thaddeus later. On the side of Wubu, no pressure on him. I imagine he just goes ahead and plays this Thorson right out. No reason to react to this Acolyte. I mean, he's considering all his possibilities as well. I mean, I guess you could go for a Zombie Child plus Fugan and hope that your opponent doesn't have an answer to Thaddeus right now. But I kind of just like having the Thorson just to get something out in the field. You just seen a Despite as well, so the Thorson needs to be reacted to, and maybe you might be able to execute, and then you have maybe the Thaddeus that survives.
Yeah.
But, I mean, again, a lot of options here. One thing I'm almost certain he won't play here is Reno. Would make no sense for him to play Reno. Everything else is actually an option. He could play the Owl, actually. He could go for, you know, anything else, really. But I don't think you really need to Owl this, to be honest. Looks like he's going to go for the Peddler first, which is kind of surprising to me. I feel like you kind of need... I mean, it's running contrary to how he's played this game so far, right? There was an Acolyte earlier. He didn't really, you know, do anything about it. He's gonna actually Dark Bomb it. I guess he doesn't want any Battle Rages coming out. But I feel like putting your own pressure on would be a bit more useful. Anyway, might not matter too much. We see, and this is why I don't really like using the Dark Bomb, right? That's your only Dark Bomb, and you might need it to kill something like a Frothing Berserker.
Yeah, that's the problem that Wubu might find himself in. But he might be able to use the Defender Augurs to deal with this in the end. So doesn't really matter as far as the consequences are concerned.
Yeah, but I mean, now you're forced to use Defender of Argus, whereas you could have been developing Fugan, or excuse me, Salag, or Thorison, or stuff like that. We see the Shadow Flame come in the hand. That's pretty important here for Wubu. So from now on, if there are any patrons on the board, he can basically just play, a Fugan and Shadow Flame, or even if you're super desperate, maybe you Reno and Shadow Flame. But yeah, for this board, I imagine it's just going to be a Defender of Argus here. Demon Wrath, I guess, could be something. No, I guess you can't, because your guys die and then the Frothing doesn't die. Well, I guess the Frothing does die because you can Moral Coil it. So I guess he's going for that. That's kind of wasteful, though, I suppose.
Yeah, it is wasteful indeed, and
Huh. So it looks like it's just going to be Demon Wrath plus Moral Coil. And then play the Zombie Chow out. I suppose this makes a bigger board than if you use Defender of Argus. And he can maybe use Defender of Argus later. Perhaps he just values the taunts that you gain from Defender of Argus. Because he doesn't have any more taunts in his hand right now. And there might be a turn where he needs to Defender of Argus before he plays Jaraxxus to ward off something like Rom.
yeah, Valeera doesn't really want to play the low step. He wants to play low step to get lethal. So
Why didn't he armor up? Valeera, you're confusing me. What are you doing? He didn't arm. Oh, I guess he wants to take, because he knows the Zombie Chow is going to attack him now. He doesn't want the Zombie Chow to heal him up too much, so he wants to take damage so that he can.
yeah, that's the only.
I think you're putting too much thought into this, though, Valeera. I don't know. Anyway, has a pretty good option, a pretty good way to kill that Thorison and just play his own Dr. Boom out. Mind Control Tech comes in the hand, but not going to be too useful now. There's actually no real way to kill this other than Stalag Shadow Flame, which you really need. You kind of want the Shadow Flame for the patrons because you don't have any way to deal with patrons right now. So kind of an awkward turn here for Wubu. Either you use some of your premium removal, or you have to deal with Dr. Boom. So it looks like it's going to be a tap. It's probably going to be that play. Twisting Nether comes in hand a bit too late. But Twisting Nether that's kind of nice because now he has Twisting Nether for Patron. So that's something that he can maybe do in the future.
Yes, and this is actually the reason why you play the Hungry Dragon. Is it?
The Hungry Dragon?
Yeah, the 5/6.
Wait.
4 mana 5/6 give your opponent 1 drop.
Oh, so you can Shadow Flame?
Never mind. I was talking about the mind control tech meme.
Oh, okay. Okay, sorry. The thing is, if you
Never mind.
right. I guess maybe you could play it for both the Shadow Flame and the Mind Control Tech. Sorry I didn't catch that, but anyway. He's going to take out this Dread Corsair, but immediately going to get executed afterwards, so not too big of a deal for Valeera. A bigger deal is that your opponent has a ton of cards, and he's going to go back up to 30 health, and you're not going to be able to withstand this onslaught from him.
Yeah. Execute 12. Actually, Valeera is 2 cards behind, which is actually good for him in terms of fatigue. So
I don't think this game's gonna go fatigue. I mean, Basically, I mean, Reno actually even beats Control Warrior, which is really good at going fatigue because you get to play Jiraxis. So, anyway, going to be the
Yeah,
Bran with what here? Just the Doctor Boom. He could have actually played Doctor Boom here, but looks like it's just going to be a double defender, which I guess is a thing. But he's already seen 2 executes, so maybe this Bran survives. It is a pretty big guy at 4/6 right here. So maybe he can just play Doctor Boom afterward. There wouldn't be enough room for the Boom bots though in this case. But I guess you don't really worry about that.
Now there's space.
I mean, now there is, but there wasn't until this Grom came out. So really good turn here for Wubu. He can play Doctor Boom as well as Mortal Coil this guy. So yeah, the Grom is dead. Gonna be just a tap into a Doctor Boom and 4 Boom bots. And look at Valeera's face. He's just he can't believe it.
Let me see. What's this?
Yeah, Valeera's very sad. He might just concede here, honestly.
Yeah, before which he might start to think about the meaning of life. And really.
Yeah, you start getting a bit, you start thinking about philosophically when you're facing down a board of boom bots. You just get really sad there. I'm just gonna be conceded here from Valeera. That was just really sad. Didn't draw patient the entire time. Excuse me. If he had drawn it earlier, maybe he would have had a chance to win. But after turn 7 or so, when the Shadow Flame came in hand, there's really no way for Valeera to win the game, and we would take the 2-1 lead in the series.
Yeah, I mean, Patron Warrior is just very bad against Wubu's 2 decks that we've seen so far. I mean, it's somewhat favored against Shaman, but Shaman is really capable of doing anything if they got the correct draw. And Valeera,
I think. Do you think this is a bit of a strategical mistake by Valeera overall? Because it looks like, I mean, if the mage is freeze mage, then he brought 4 defensive decks, assuming that the warlock is something like Reno, right? But he brought Patron Warrior, which is actually good against Druid, and he felt like he needed to ban Druid because control decks can just lose to mid-range Druid sometimes. So he bans Druid, but that's basically the only deck that his patron is favored against. It's not favored against Control Warrior, it's not favored against Reno Lock, and it's not favored against Shaman either. It's actually, Shaman's the only aggro deck that's actually favored against Patron, and not the other way around. Patron's favored against, other things like Face Hunter and Zoo and stuff like that.
Yeah, but you are not really sure about what kind of decks that you opponent. It could be Zoo, it could be Patron Warrior as well. So
that's true, but Druid is such like it's a pretty good matchup for the Patron Warrior. I think it's just I think if Valeera wanted to go for this strategy, he should have probably gone with Control Warrior instead. But in any case, we're going to be going into this game. It's going to be the Patron Warrior one more time, and there is a pretty ridiculous start here for Wubu. Even gets the Flame Tongue Totem, which typically is not very useful, but when you get 2 1-drops in the field, it can be.
It can definitely be in this case, and
I imagine you just go for that, right? You just go for the Tunnel Trog into the Lepronome and put on the pressure. I mean, your opponent literally can't deal with it unless they have Fire Warx and Enrage.
Well, Valeera has one of them.
He does, but you can't assume that your opponent has that kind of starting hand. If they do, you're probably losing the game anyway, right? So you might as well just put as much pressure on as possible.
Yeah, that's very true.
I suppose he's thinking about maybe cloning the Feral Spirits here, but I mean, you have the Fling Tongue Totem that's pretty nice. I feel like you just kind of hold on to that. Or you basically put as much stuff on the board as early as possible. Alright, so, yeah, the Unseeable Ghoul is pretty good. It can get taken out here, though, with the Flame Tongue Totem. The Totem Golem, it doesn't really help too much. It kind of just turns this Tunnel Trog into a 2-1, essentially. after everything is done. He could do it afterward, and the Tunnel Trog wouldn't be damaged. He could go for... So, here are your options. You could go for Flame Tongue and then have a 3-1 afterward. You could go for the Totem Golem and have a 2-1 and 3-4. But this ended up being okay.
Oh, this draw is rather good for Valeera.
The biggest thing here is now Wubu is not overloaded, so he can just go for this Feral Spirit. Even picks up a second Feral Spirit.
Yeah, second Feral Spirit.
So the question is, do you actually hit the... looks like he's not going to hit the Frothing Berserker. Just going to go face here. Definitely makes sense. And what can you do if you are Valeera? He can Inner Rage... Oh, he's actually just going to draw cards. Interesting. I guess you do need cards in this situation. Picks up a Fireworks for his trouble. Probably going to... Oh, that's a mistake. Oh, no. He's playing too fast. Wow, played way too fast there. And now his Frothing Berserker is dead for no real reason at all. And you can see him covering his face there. That's why I don't play too quickly, guys. You don't think of these things sometimes. And yeah, that Feral Spirit slid over, and Valeera got severely punished there, taking 6 damage to the face now. And this game is looking pretty over.
Yeah, I think so. There's no real way for Valeera to come back from that play.
And this is why this... I mean, we saw the Patron Warrior win this matchup a few days ago. But this is why it's typically a favorite for the Shaman, is because there's no real armor gain other than Armor Smith plus Whirlwind stuff. So you need a really good start to hold off the initial damage from your opponent. And if you take a lot of damage early, it's just... there's no way to come back. There's no shield block, there's no Justicar. And your opponent's eventually going to draw into tons of burst.
Yeah, and Wu is going to the winner's bracket, and Valeera is going to the loser's bracket, which is kind of expected.
Alright, we'll see. Well, let's just finish this game up. I know it's looking very likely that Wubu will win, but let's just give Valeera this last second of... So, wait, he's playing Patron? I did not expect that to happen. Alright, well that is actually a game because there's a Lightning Bolt and an Abuse Sergeant. Doesn't even need the Abuse Sergeant, I don't believe. Can even BM and use Urshock here. But yeah, Wubu's going to take the game and the series, and he's going to move on, like you mentioned earlier, to that winner's round, or winner's bracket, and he'll face the winner of Arthur and Bingxuan later on. Fortunately for Valeera, started out today pretty well with that Priest win, but from there on went 0-3 with his Patron. He's going to face the loser of Arthur and Bingxuan.